Ladies and gentlemen, what is up, and welcome to today's video where we're going to be covering some of the Marvel Contest of Champions news and stuff that's coming in the next kind of 24-48 hours. We have the new event with King Groot and Angela now 100% confirmed. We got the rewards for that, but most excitingly, I guess that's kind of a phrase, we have Dave Bautista's Cosmic Challenge. So if you've been around for, it's probably now like over 6 months, since we saw like the last Chloe's event. There've been these events like Coulson's, Chloe's, and Mingnar's Cavalry Challenge, and they kind of run for about a month, and they're really difficult pieces of content. There's usually some interesting stuff in them, but they also have amazing rewards for kind of the time that it takes to do them. Like doing Chloe's, I remember doing the last challenge, we had a 440 Scarlet Witch and a 444, and our team and setup wasn't really stacked then, and it took about 2 hours to clear the entire thing. And back then, I was a significantly worse player. I was still getting the comments on a daily basis like, you need to start ending your combos with a medium attack, and we rinsed that one. So I'm very interested to see kind of how this one stacks up in terms of difficulty. Now, one of the things they do mention in this Cosmic Challenge, which had me and a few people, I tweeted about this last night because I was a little bit confused. They were like, it's going to be really hard with one major difference. It's going to be really hard. So I'm thinking, damn, like what kind of crazy characters are they going to throw at us? You know, who are the opponents? Because basically what happens with the format on this is that there are kind of 6 different enemies that you need to fight, and the celebrity, kind of the actor, gets to pick which of the 6 characters are going to be up in the challenge. And Dave Bautista, he decided to keep it in the family. So the opponents are going to be Rocket Raccoon, Star-Lord, Groot, Ronan Gamora, and of course Drax the Destroyer. Now, like, out of all those 6 characters, only one of them is like a little bit tricky to fight, and that's Groot. Apart from that, all of them, you know, they've got special ones that are very easy to bait. A lot of their special 2s are very easy to bait and fully evade as well. So, I don't know where the challenge is exactly going to come from, because they mentioned they're removing some of the Safeguard and Thorns nodes. So, in this one, we're against Spite, which is, if you have a buff, the opponent kind of gains a little bit of power. I think it's 16% every second or so, but it's not quite that fast. And also, they have Heal Block. Again, with a lot of these characters, if you just bait them, it doesn't seem too hard to demolish. I think the potential, like the potential fight that might be like the trickiest by far is Groot with Spite, but I think if you have like a Magic, a Dr. Voodoo, any champion that has a Dormammu, any champion with solid power control mechanics, I don't really think that's going to be too much of a problem. Even with a 3-star version, and again, you can also just use any champion that doesn't have any buffs, or just what is the second one? Aggressively bait the special one. So I don't know. I'm interested there. I think they might be hyping it up a little bit too much in terms of its difficulty. I feel like especially with my 5-star rank for Dr. Voodoo, I feel like we're going to rinse this challenge pretty quickly. I don't think it's going to be much of a challenge, but we're going to have to see. I imagine it's going to be fairly easy for a player kind of at my progression, so we might initially do it if it really is that easy and then go back and rinse it. But I'm interested to see, because just in terms of raw difficulty, it just, unless the opponents are like crazily stacked, it just doesn't seem like there's anything at the moment that's really going to throw us off course and be a huge amount of BS. And I guess that's kind of good. I guess that's good that we're not going to have to deal with too much BS. Like, I'm sure people still have nightmares about dealing with the really stacked Spider-Man from Chloe's quest. I know occasionally he crops up in my dreams. So yeah, that's good that we don't have Spider-Man in this one. But anyway, let's talk about the availability of this. So this is going to be available on Thursday, so April 6th. So it's not today, it's tomorrow. We're going to be doing a live stream as soon as it goes live. And then it's going to run until May 4th. So you have about 4 weeks to complete it. You know, you got a sufficient amount of time there. And shouldn't be too hard. Shouldn't be too hard, but we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see anyway. So let's talk about the rewards and setup. So one of the things that is slightly different about this one is apparently as well, it's meant to be there will only be one chapter, but every single quest you do has roughly the same amount of fights as an entire chapter of the previous challenge. However, before they let us scare us too much with that, we're also trying something else pretty new. So after every 5 fights, you'll be presented with a portal that you can use to bail out and go directly to the final boss, and the first portal of each quest will lead to every other path on the map, meaning that if you choose to skip the boss, you'll only have to complete the first 5 fights before being able to jump back into any set of fights again. So I think that's a little bit of an interesting map layout. It's a little bit difficult to understand on that one, but it just sounds like they've kind of condensed the 6 maps that they had in every chapter just to kind of one map, and you kind of ping across it that way. But I think maybe to save a little bit of time, I'm not too sure if it works, you can maybe ping from one to the next, and then clear it up all in one kind of mega marathon run. But I'm not really too sure about that one. We're gonna have to see. Very interested to see the map layout and exactly what they do with that quest. Now let's talk about the rewards. Some very, very interesting stuff there. So we have chapter completion and chapter mastery. So as far as I'm aware, it's very much like Road to the Labyrinth, where you only have kind of one chapter and one act. I'm not too sure if they're actually going to be multiple chapters. No, there's only one chapter and only one act, alright? So you get the chapter completion and act completion stuff at the same time. Same with the mastery and act mastery. So really all of that stuff should be bundled together. So if initially running through it, initially you're going to get 300 4-star crystal shards, 100 5-stars, and 10 tier 4 class catalyst fragment crystals. Nothing too special there. But then we add this up to, so this adds up to 900 in total 4-star shards, 350 total 5-star shards, 30 of the tier 4 class catalyst fragment crystals, almost one generic. I think that's about 75% of one generic T4 catalyst there, so that's pretty good, and one tier 1 alpha. So it really depends on kind of the difficulty of it, but just from, you know, kind of getting an initial clear on this, you should be able to blitz through and scoop up those completion rewards pretty easy. But if you want to master the chapter, here's where the rewards, they get a little bit more juicy. So you get 5-star crystal shards times 200, a tier 4 class catalyst crystal, a generic tier 4 catalyst, 5-star signature stones times 20, and as far as I'm aware, these are the generic ones, so you can use them on any character that you want. Hopefully I'm going to get these and we can just pump like an additional 20 levels into Voodoo. That's going to be really good. And the advice is for the generic signature stones that ideally you want to use those ones on a featured hero with really, really good prestige to kind of get the maximum benefit out of that, or maybe a character that you've just awakened, which when you awakening a 5-star character, you probably only want to awaken a featured one anyway. So that'd be my advice for using the generic ones, but that's pretty damn good there. Also an additional 550 5-star shards, so that ups it to a total of 750 for the mastery as well. And then you get one 4-star awakening gem crystal as well. So a lot of shards there, a kind of mixture of like a lot of really, really good rewards for something that shouldn't be hopefully too difficult. Shouldn't be more difficult than last month's Master Mode quest, because that one was a real big ball ache there. So I'm very interested to kind of see Dave Bautista's Cosmic Challenge and how much it weighs up to some of the previous content there. So we also have, oh, there's actually some additional rewards. I didn't see this. I see that you're a little concerned about the rewards in the challenge. This is an edit, guys. I didn't see this one going through earlier. So do we get, what else do we get here? So it's just some premium hero crystal shards units to be expected. Oh, is that even more? Is that even more? I'm not too sure. It's a little bit hard to tell. Right, this isn't too well worded here, but there's some really, really good stuff. So there's also a Legends run going for this event. There's something very interesting to bear in mind. I think the Legends MVP characters, again, it's very, very hard to tell, and you don't need to do Legends on the first day, and you have till the entire end of the event to get your Legends run. So if you want to go for a Legends, there's going to be 100 titles available. Personally, I'm not going to go for it. I probably could and get it, and get the tier 4 class catalyst on day 1, but it's not going to be something we're striving for, because I'd rather have like somebody else get the opportunity to get the Legends title instead of getting in another tier 4 class catalyst, which would probably end up being Cosmic or Science, and we would need that one. But I think some of the Legends MVPs for this quest, I think it's going to be a mixture of like Star-Lord and Dr. Voodoo. I think Voodoo's going to be really, really great. I think if you got 551, you're in really solid standing. He's going to be super effective against Groot in particular. I think as well he has good matchups with Drax and Gamora. And also weighs pretty well with like Rocket Raccoon and Star-Lord. There's nothing penalizing him there. There are slightly better characters for maybe damage on those matchups. But when it comes to Ronan is poison immune, and that's where a lot of Voodoo's damage comes from. So yeah, that's something to kind of keep in mind. I think between my Gwenpool, Star-Lord, and Dr. Voodoo, could easily rinse the Legends title for this event if I wanted to, but we'll be doing kind of some tips on how to possibly go for the Legends title shortly after we've done the quest. So if you're thinking of going for that, we'll have all of the content on this channel, a full run through, and if you want to tune in live tomorrow evening to see all the stuff initially, then be my guest. And apart from that, we also have the second piece of news as well, which is the event quest King Groot's Loot, which we're going to be doing live on the channel this evening. Going to be going through that. So the rewards for this are pretty much very similar. The only difference between the previous events are the titles and also the 3-star character. So the titles for normal, beginner, normal, and mass heroic are the wingless one. So that's an interesting one. However, I do like the King of Planet X title. I'm not too sure it's going to overtake my Lord of Darkness title. I do quite like that one. Actually, I think that I've got the Legends title on at the moment, just to big dick a bit there. But, yeah, they ain't too bad titles. They're alright, but the most exciting thing about this monthly event is the 3-star Dr. Voodoo. So if you haven't already picked up a Dr. Voodoo as a 3-star champion, if you're a newer player to the game, do normal mode 100%, because you're going to get 3-star Dr. Voodoo. He's going to be an absolutely phenomenal champion to carry you through a lot of endgame content. I've heard from various people on Reddit and the forums that some people are actually using 3-star Dr. Voodoo for various stuff in the Road to the Labyrinth as well, because he has some very interesting like power drain mechanics, and also ways that with his power drain buff, he can get like additional hits in, because it's burning power, which allows you also to counter safeguard in certain ways. So you should be able to kill like 3.5 Deadpool if you don't have an option to that, an answer to that with a 3-star Dr. Voodoo. I need to go back and check for myself and do a little bit of testing on that. But regardless of which, 3-star Dr. Voodoo, definitely pick him up. Definitely put in the time if you're kind of a beginner player looking at progressing and coming up in the game. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot of great stuff coming up in the next kind of 24-48 hours. Also, the global release of Transformers Forged to Fight. And we're going to go for the kind of Realm of Legends equivalent difficulty thing that's being added today in that game. So, yeah, really busy couple of hours. And then we are off to Amsterdam Friday. So much going on. But thank you all for tuning into the video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like. That'd be greatly appreciated. Apart from that, thank you for watching. Take care and have an absolutely fantastic day.